What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video we have a Master League Premier Cup battle submission from Eric C 777 using Florges, Snorlax, and an Master League Trevenant. This is going to be the first time I've seen this Pokemon in action in the Master League, so hope you guys are excited. This team looks very strong, and let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Alright, getting into the first battle here. Now, this submission looks to be a full set. It's only going to be about 10 to 12 minutes. It's all 5 battles straight in a row. So we got Dragonite on the lead in Game 1. So very positive lead matchup. We will see a swap out into Gyarados, so they're going to go ahead and bring in that Trevenant. And this is something I am very curious to see how well Trevenant stacks up. Its combat power is definitely not as high as a lot of these other Pokemon, but that doesn't mean it can't put in absolute work with Shadow Claw and Shadow Ball. Now, we're going to see a potential crunch come through, so they're going to go ahead and shield, and unfortunately, it was an Aqua Tail shield bait, so they need to get that Seed Bomb thrown before this Gyarados can get to the crunch in order to force shield number 2. So here comes the Seed Bomb. The Gyarados decides to shield, desperately wanting to land another charge move, and the Trevenant is going to go ahead and double shield and look to farm down with Shadow Claw. This is very advantageous for them because they should be able to get to a Shadow Ball against the Dragonite that is likely coming back in. Here it comes. Shadow Ball is going to do a lot of neutral damage, and they still maintain positive switch advantage. That was about, oh, and they decided to swap out into the Florges, forcing out the Dragonite and forcing in a Togekiss here. So I believe they did click on Moonblast. I didn't see the wording since it is Double Fairy. Yeah, it was the Moonblast right there. That is a ton of damage, and thankfully Fairy Wind. You know what's funny? When you see Florges doing the fast move, I know it's Fairy Wind. You know it's Fairy Wind. But the animation shows Vine Whips. Anyone else get a bit confused right there? But anyways, they're looking to take this one easily as they go for another Disarming Voice to take out the Togekiss, and then that is going to be a good game. There's still Snorlax in the back, and the opponent does decide to surrender. But that's kind of interesting on the fast move animation with Florges. I've seen it I haven't used one myself, I'm still building mine, and I've seen it on the other side, but having it on your own perspective really shows that they're doing Vine Whip animations, but with Fairy Wind as a fast move. I just think that's kind of funny. Alright, game 2. Florges versus Excadrill. Okay, let's see how they decide to handle this. They're going to go ahead and decide to go into the Snorlax as their safe swap. Snorlax is probably one of the best safe swaps in this Master League Premier Cup meta. And by safe swap, if you're not familiar with what I mean, is if you lose lead, you want to have a Pokemon that you can safely swap into for the mid game to try to get yourself an advantage. Whether that's shield advantage, energy advantage, or switch advantage. And in this case, they're going to look to try to get themselves energy and potentially shield advantage, and we'll see how that plays out. But here comes the Body Slam, as it does do quite a bit of neutral damage, and this is where they might get themselves shield and energy. Yes. Oh, no, the Togekiss decides to throw the charge move right here, so they're going to go ahead and let it go. If it's Ancient Power, they might be able to survive. No, they don't. Okay. So they're going to go ahead and come in with Florges. And this is where the energy advantage comes in. They can fully farm down. Okay, they're going to go ahead and actually go for the charge move. They might have been able to fully farm down and give up a shield and have lots of energy versus Excadrill. And the opponent decided to shield. Very interesting call right here. So they get themselves shield advantage, actually, excuse me, on this back end, and now they can actually fully farm down. So this is the advantage that you want when you lose lead. 2 shields, lots of stored energy, and then they're going to see the Excadrill come in, so they're going to go ahead and go for the Moonblast, and this is going to be up to Trevenant in order to win this game, as they will swap into it with shield advantage, and now ahead on energy as well. The opponent decides to stay in too, hoping to throw one Rock Slide to do neutral damage. They're going to go ahead and shield it, but I think this was a CMP tie, which it was. This means the Seed Bomb could potentially get that final shield, and if it lands, it might just KO. It does KO the Excadrill. The final Pokemon is going to be Gyarados, and this is going to be a very close endgame, as the Gyarados could shield bait with an Aqua Tail and then land the Crunch, but Florges still has a good amount of remaining HP where it might be able to get to one Disarming Voice before it goes down to Waterfall Fast Move. So, do they shield? That's the question. They're going to go ahead and shield. It was an Aqua Tail shield bait, so they're going to look to go for the Seed Bomb now, and they do have the potential to sack swap. This is what's great about keeping a Pokemon with low HP on your back end. Watch for the sack swap. Nope, there's going to... Oh! I love when you can call this. Great sack swap right there, catching the charge move, and it was the Outrage, actually, so very interesting that they didn't have Crunch, but Outrage does make sense if you want to have a little bit more coverage to Dragons, and the Disarming Voice still lands. Very good game right there. All right, moving into the next battle. See, that's really good, right? You lose against Excadrill, you come in with the Snorlax, a nice neutral matchup, and then you can try to get yourself an advantage in the mid-game against Togekiss, and we saw that with 2 shields and Trevenant, they were able to pull it off. Granted, they did need to do a sacrificial swap in order to make it happen, but yeah, if they had Crunch, that would have been a lot closer. But I think they could have potentially thrown the Seed Bomb and kind of closed it out. But we do have Florges now versus Mamoswine on the lead. So kind of a neutral matchup right here. It's going to be up to the opponent, both these battlers, to decide if they want to give up a shield this early in the game. And it looks like they're going to go ahead and let this first one go through, as the Avalanche will land. And they're now going to go for the Moonblast. Both Pokemon doing a lot of neutral damage to each other. So it's going to come down to this second charge. Oh, they did give up a shield right away. So they're going to go ahead and go into Snorlax. They may be predicting that something in the back is weak. So there may be a Dragonite back there, as they will soak this Avalanche here on the Snorlax, which is very bulky and can easily tank that. And they do have access to Superpower, which can force a shield right here from Mamoswine. Otherwise, it's going to be doing an incredible amount of super effective damage. And it lands! Beautiful! Now, the opponent does swap out into Gyarados, so this isn't the worst case scenario. They got the Mamoswine extremely low. They have 2-to-1 shield advantage, and a Gyarados coming in is going to have to throw a charge move right here, otherwise 2 Body Slams will land. Now, the Gyarados doesn't necessarily have to shield, so they're really hard committing to this farm down, so I'd be surprised. Oh, they swap into Florges now to force the energy, and this could be a huge call, because the Aqua Tail is going to do some decent neutral damage. They can get to the Disarming Voice in time, but Trevenant might just be able to sweep this game. Let's see how this plays out. Disarming Voice lands, but no, not enough damage to take out the Gyarados. Do they let this go through? Yeah, they're going to go ahead and let it go, and now it's going to be up to Trevenant to close this game out. We know there was a Mamoswine, which is extremely low in the final Pokemon. Oh, it's Metagross! Perfect! Now, they need to be careful about the sack swap. Yeah, we will see the Mamoswine swap in, so they're going to go ahead and shield right here, safely farm down, and this should be a good game. They can easily throw back-to-back Shadow Balls right here. When you're in a situation where your opponent only has 1 shield and you're ahead on energy, go for the Shadow Balls. It's gonna land. The only way the opponent wins is if they no-shield and you throw a Seed Bomb, right? So that's going to be a good game, as Trevenant's going to be able to sweep this one right there. Beautiful. Trevenant doing very, very well in this Master League Premier Cup meta. All right, we're going to move into the next battle here. I believe this is going to be Game 4. Yeah, this should be Game 4. But it's cool to see Trevenant. Typically, Trevenant is only really used in the Great League and Ultra League. But seeing it, it's actually performing well, right? It has good targets. It's got Metagross, which is extremely common. It can do very well against Pokemon like Machamp. It needs to watch out for crunches from a Gyarados, but it can still hit for neutral with Shadow Ball and Seed Bomb. Ultimately, I think it's looking really strong. All right, we got Florges versus Chestnut on the lead. Very positive lead matchup right here. We do see a swap out into Excadrill, so we're going to see the Snorlax come into this matchup. Now, in order for Excadrill to win this, they're going to have to shield, because Drill Run or Rock Slide, it's going to be Drill Runs most likely, is not going to do enough neutral damage to take out a Snorlax, and a Snorlax can easily potentially land a Superpower here, and it will force shields or basically one shot. So let's see how they decide to play this. Here comes the first Superpower. If the opponent tries to call the bait, I think they're going to get boomed. Let's see what happens. They do get the shield right there. They're trying to go for another Superpower, but it's not going to be in time, as they're going to be forced to shield now. And this is a good situation for the Excadrill, because now with 2 Superpowers coming through, Excadrill could potentially farm down with Mudshot, and they do give up 2 shields. Let's see if no, the Excadrill decided to throw the energy. This is fine. The lead was a Chestnut, right? Both Trevenant and the Florges have very positive matchups against it. So this is advantageous here for Eric C 777, because it doesn't matter. They just need a lot of energy on the Trevenant in order to win this game. Now they go ahead and go for the Seed Bomb in order to get the Excadrill out of there. Hopefully it doesn't KO so they can farm down. Yeah, perfect. They can farm down for a couple Shadow Claws. And now we're going to see that final Pokemon. it's going to be a Chestnut. So what is the final Pokemon in the back? It's going to be interesting. I have a feeling it's going to be Metagross. That's going to be my call. Shadow Ball does land. They decide to swap into Florges. Yep, it is a Metagross in the back. That makes a lot of sense. If you see a Chestnut lead, it's very weak to Pokemon like Florges, like Togekiss, like Dragonite, and Metagross does a very good job at covering those weaknesses. So that was a good play to swap now into the Florges to try and force get some damage done against the Metagross here so that Trevenant could come in and farm down. Now the Metagross is going to be forced to throw, and Trevenant still has a shield. So let's see if they decide to, no, they're going to go ahead and let it go. Boom, down it goes, and now they're going to be forced to shield here, but it's going to come down to CMP tie. I believe the Chestnut has a Frenzy Plant. So this is going to come down to Shadow Ball versus Frenzy Plant. Who's going to win the CMP tie? Trevenant does. Beautiful. What a comeback right there. Boom. Down goes. Oh, no, it survived. What? What a twist of events as the superpower lands, taking out the... Oh, my goodness. What a game. Good battle. Was that the final one? Oh, that was the final battle. Oh, dang. The best ones are always at the end. I'm glad you guys stuck around. That was so cool. I thought the Trevenant, that was played to a T, right? The Trevenant, I thought it had it, completely had it right there. And then it survived with literally 1 health point. So cool. Eric C777. Thank you for sharing these battles with us. Seeing the Trevenant in the Master League Premier Cup was very cool. So I definitely need to try to get some lucky trades now, seeing that it performed so well. I definitely want to try to add that to my roster, maybe for next season or the season after. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and like always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.